Is Giannis leaving the Bucks? Every team in the league is going to be calling the Bucks to see if Giannis is actually available. But do we think he's actually leaving? And if he does, where does he go? Giannis is very loyal, so he could still stay. There is a chance. But if he is leaving the Bucks, here are some teams where he might end up. Straight off the bat, I am not buying into Giannis to the Rockets. Maybe the Spurs, but Giannis to OKC, I don't see either of those. Let me tell you why. Everyone's talking about OKC, more so the Rockets, because they're like, oh, they have the assets to trade for Giannis and what Milwaukee will want. I think you need to consider and remember, the Bucks will not send Giannis where he doesn't want to go. And I know someone's going to say, Giannis doesn't have a no trade clause. They can send him wherever they want. But when you have a superstar like Giannis, who brought you a championship, who has always done right by the franchise, they do right by their superstars. And I'm not saying Giannis said, I don't want to go to the Rockets. But in my opinion, just my opinion, I don't think the Rockets are his first choice or his second choice or even his third choice. Again, I don't know what Giannis wants. This is just my speculation, but what I'm telling you or what I'm saying is Giannis will not be on the Rockets unless he wants to be on the Rockets. What I'm saying is he's not going to the team that gives the Bucks the most compensation. He's going to a team that will give the Bucks something that, they are happy with, but also where he wants to go. So it is likely not going to be the best possible package out there for Giannis. Just making that clear. That's just my opinion. That's how I see it. In my opinion, there are only 3 teams in the race for Giannis. Again, based on just how I think. I have not ever spoken to Giannis in my life. But based on him, his play style, him wanting to win multiple championships, and the report coming out that he wants to be paired with a co-star who takes the pressure off of him, and obviously, gives him a chance to win, these are the 3 teams that I think are in potential contention for Giannis. Number 1 is the Golden State Warriors. It's very unfortunate that Steph Curry got hurt because I was someone who picked the Warriors to go to the finals, and I think they were going to win the championship. That's just my opinion. Obviously, Steph going down changed the whole trajectory. If Giannis says, I want to play with Steph Curry, Giannis will be a Warrior. The Warriors have a better package in OKC. This is what I'm saying in the beginning. No, but they could put together a decent package. And again, if Giannis says, I want to go there, that's where he will end up. I think it's a situation where you have to weigh out the options and what they would have to give up to get him. Because similar to getting KD, although KD was a free agent, so they didn't have to trade anybody, although Harrison Barnes, sorry. But Giannis is a player where you can't really pass him up. So obviously it depends on the package, but if Giannis says, I want to play with Steph Curry, you will see Giannis on the Warriors next year. Team number 2 is the New York Knicks. I think the Warriors have a better package than the Knicks because the Knicks have more win-now players. Even someone like OG, who I would not trade in the Giannis trade because I don't think that makes sense for either team. What I'm saying is OG is 26, 27, which is still great, but it's OG is win now. If you're going to trade for OG, you better have a team around him who is also win now. I want you to keep something in mind though. Milwaukee does not have control of their picks. So if I'm any of these 3 teams that I'm talking about, if I want to get the Giannis deal done, I am talking to the Pelicans, and I believe the Blazers as well have Milwaukee's picks. So I am talking to those 2 teams and seeing if I can get 1 or more of their picks back. Why? Because part of the problem or issue with these trades is that Milwaukee doesn't necessarily want to tank because they don't even have access to their pick. I don't think they want to trade back for Karl Anthony Towns, let's say, because he is completely win now. It would be, what would be the point of trading Giannis for Cat, if that makes sense? I think they want a young up-and-coming star who could potentially, kind of like a Cade Cunningham. Obviously, they're not getting Cade, but someone who is young but still up-and-coming who can lead them to some wins. Not necessarily win a championship right away, but not necessarily make them the worst team in the league since they can't access their pick. I say all that to say, if any of these 3 teams get access to the Bucks picks, they can include this in the deal, and then it actually makes it easier to trade certain players or not, because then Milwaukee doesn't have to worry about if we can end up, losing all our games because we can actually use our picks now. So the New York Knicks are another team because I think that's somewhere where Giannis would want to play because they always play really hard. We know Giannis always plays hard, and obviously they have put themselves in a position to potentially win a championship. Now, I have the Knicks going to the finals. I said it earlier this year. I am still standing by that, of course. But my stipulation is if the Knicks win the championship, Giannis will not go there. If any team, obviously the only one left would be the Knicks at this point, but If the Warriors had won the championship, Giannis would not have gone there either. Similar to what I said, if Giannis said, I want to be on the New York Knicks, Giannis will be on the New York Knicks. I think they would have a tougher time getting a deal done than the Warriors because the Warriors have some, younger talent, and the Knicks really have win now players, even though they're very good. McHale, OG, those players. But I think they would have a tougher time, but if Giannis says, I want to go there, they'll figure it out. In that case, even maybe for the Warriors too, you do a 3-team deal. So maybe with the Knicks, again, let's just assume Cat. I'm not saying they're trading Cat. I'm just, putting him out there for this purpose. Let's say you do a 3-team deal. Cat goes to another team who is, trying to contend, so then that helps them. And then that third team sends the Bucks, a young up-and-coming star, and then obviously the Knicks get Giannis. And the last team is the San Antonio Spurs. I said in the beginning of the video, maybe the Spurs. And the Spurs are in a sort of different situation than the Rockets and OKC. And part of the reason I don't think the Rockets, just kind of going back to what I said before I talk about the Spurs, why the Rockets I don't think make sense for Giannis or for the team is that the Rockets need shooting. They need someone like KD or Devin Booker, which is why I've talked about earlier. They have the Phoenix Suns picks. Watch out for them, potentially trading for one of those players. They have a lot of talented wing players who, are not the best shooters. Jabari Smith was shooting the ball very well in the playoffs, but they have enough, athletic guys who could drive to the basket. They don't need that. And to me, you would just be trading your wings for obviously Giannis, who is, better than them at this point, but that still doesn't solve their scoring and shooting issues. For me, OKC, for example, is obviously Shea is closer on the timeline than Giannis, an MVP, probably going to win this year, and that team is loaded, right? So OKC is definitely in a better position to get Giannis in terms of being attractive, we can win a championship if we just get you. But to me, I don't see him and Shea as the best fit together. I feel like they really don't complement each other's games. I think they're both superstars, so they would figure it out enough. But I don't think it's the best fit, so that's kind of why I don't see him going there. In terms of the Spurs, I think it's different because, yes, they are young. Victor Wembanyama is not... he's not older than Jalen Green either. He's not older than Şengün, right? So you're probably like, how is it the Spurs then? Victor Wembanyama was about to win Defensive Player of the Year in the second year of his career. Victor is a unicorn. And him and Giannis together is a crazy fit. And even at this young age, Victor is so good. Plus they have De'Aaron Fox, if you forgot. That is enough. Plus whatever they do in the offseason to become a championship contender. Because the Spurs do have a bunch of assets, do have a bunch of picks. If you can somehow keep Stephon Castle, out of the trade, I know they'll probably want him, but if you can keep him out of it, that would be really good for them. And if they pick up Giannis, there will be some veteran guys who are free agents. Some of them will be, sharpshooters and, some maybe, two-way wing players and whatever. They will come sign to the team for a vet minimum with De'Aaron Fox and with Victor Wembanyama because they know that gives them a chance to win the championship. So I think the Spurs, and especially because Victor is still in his rookie deal, Giannis's contract, although large, is not going to put them over the edge. So I think they have a great chance to fill out the roster still, even if they trade Giannis, and trade some of their assets, and they could still build, a deep championship team. So that's why I think the Spurs are a bit different because the fit is better and they'll still have, a way to fill out the roster, and I think Giannis would be interested in going there.